Hi! Welcome back to Frigiphobia, Neon Goblin's run-through of Icewind Dale, Rime of the Frost Maiden, a D&D 5e adventure from Wizards of the Coast. I am your game master this evening. My name is Morgan. I'm joined by a beautiful cast of goblins. We have James playing the goblin sorcerer Osborne.
Ahoy, hoy.
We have Griffin playing the fire genasi artificer Vulcan. We have Alden playing the human paladin Wilhelm.
Oh, hello there.
We have Prescott playing the Shadowkai ranger Zadrin.
Hello.
We have Kristen playing the dragonborn druid Gran.
Howdy.
We have Cavan playing the fighter rogue Ryston.
That's me.
And we are joined again this week by our special guest, Devin, who is playing Velen Harpel, a caster of mysterious origin who has recently joined the party on their adventures. What's up, Devin?
Hello.
Thanks for being here. We're so happy to have you. We are also so happy to have our returning sponsor for this session, Roll20. For those of you who have not checked them out yet, they're a fantastic system-agnostic virtual tabletop that is fully loaded with all the different features and tools that you need to make your online games just as immersive and engaging as the games that you have around the table. They have concluded their summer event, the Camp Roll 2021, but subscribers at their paid tiers of membership do get free content every single month, and there are always a variety of different free resources available for even base tier memberships. So again, if you haven't checked them out yet, we use them every session. Head on over to roll20.net and see everything that they have to offer. Roll20, we love you. Thank you so much. Before we dive into the recap, I want to give our ongoing disclaimer that while this is sort of a scaled back version, Icewind Dale is a horror adventure. There may be moments during the adventuring where some viewers are uncomfortable or can't quite deal with what the content is of the adventure. In these instances, we strongly encourage you to take a break, return to the stream when the adventure has progressed. Players at the table, of course, are aware that they have the option to speak up at any time if we need to pause the adventure and move it in a different direction. So, with that out of the way, it's been a couple weeks. Does anyone want to brave doing a recap of our last session?
This guy.
Let's have it.
I got it. I got notes.
Ooh, he got notes.
Not that I need them for last week, because last week was pretty simple. Last week that we did. Last time.
I thought you were trying to make a joke of last time, nothing happened.
Last time, we exited the fortress of Zardarok Sunblight victorious, having defeated him and replaced his Dwargar Reign of Terror with Grandalfa Musgart, who may or may not resume her own. We don't know what her motives were.
Yeah, completely different Dwargar Reign of
wanting
Terror.
the fortress. We were uncertain, unfortunately, whether we had completely accomplished our objectives because one of the main reasons we were in there was to stop the Chardalyn dragon, Zardarok's pet monster, from destroying the 10 towns. And luckily, unluckily for us, we hadn't at all. But luckily, we did run into Velen Harpel, who had a kobold-manned, dog-pulled group of sleighs ready to spirit us away to 10 towns. And through a little bit of clever guesswork, we intercepted the dragon and began the battle, which had some twists, had some turns. Some buildings fell down. Some characters tried to trick the dragon with mixed results. And without a horrendous loss of life, we defeated it. Now, of course, we have to deal with the whole flaming town and distraught survivor part. But the dragon, at least, is no longer a problem.
We did arrive at East Haven in the midst of the Chardalyn dragon's onslaught on the town, there was already noticeable structural damage to several of the buildings. This town that you had visited before has a towering wall built around it as part of its defense fortification. There was a massive hole just punched through it that y'all used to gain ingress into the town and jump right into the battle. But now that the immediate threat of the dragon itself has been dealt with, you see in the sort of smoldering ruins of this sort of ground zero of the dragon's attack, different surviving militia members, more able-bodied citizens of this larger settlement of 10 towns are beginning to hesitantly creep back into this section of the city, are quenching fires where they can, are beginning to recover the wounded and the dead from the rubble that surrounds you. One individual who had been leading the militia when you arrived and very nearly met her fate in the midst of your battle, Captain Arlagath, is breathing very heavily, just soaked with her own blood, streaked with bits of sweat from the exertion of the battle. She's got her sword that she had wielded both as normal and holy weapon, and is sort of currently leaning heavily on it for support as she stands up next to you, Osborne, her words closing out our last session as she admitted that she fucking loves goblins and is grateful for your assistance. She looks a bit shell-shocked, though, as she turns her gaze over the destruction surrounding all of you. It's quiet. There is no small talk from the citizens that move about you, taking in the results of the destruction of life as they know it, and beginning the very, very slow process of trying to recover from this event. So, what would you like to do?
I'd like to touch her very, very lightly on whichever wrist is nearest me. Very lightly. Are you all right?
I'm alive, which is more than I would have been able to say if you had not shown up when you did. How did you know? What even was this thing?
I don't really know. I just follow the others. We just happen to show. But as far as I'm concerned, we just happen to show up here. I don't know. You'd have to ask the others about, plans and such.
She does turn her gaze sort of inquisitively towards Wilhelm and Ryston, who were the ones that she had previously gone back and forth with a bit in the negotiations for the town's resources that y'all brought after exploring the Hag Cave.
As soon as the dragon fell apart, dropped the Zardarok disguise that I was holding up, lest any of the townsfolk get any ideas about scary tall Dwergar. And I think that we can pretty easily explain where the dragon came from and how we knew it was here.
Yeah, these over here, they're the thinkers. I'm just the talent.
Me and Wilhelm, we are. Oh boy, I don't know if you.
I was actually referring to Gran, but yes.
But
yes.
Oh,
Gran,
yeah.
Please tell us why we are here.
I would
do
have
not
pointed
remember.
to Gran, Vulcan, and occasionally, whenever he's not staring off into the distance or chanting quietly, Zadran.
Yeah, talking about
Vulcan.
chanting quietly, organizing the say prayers, chanting quietly for the dead.
You do it a lot. I didn't. I mean, I don't want to cast any aspersions. I'm sure it's meaningful and has, many traditional implications or whatever.
Vulcan, the effects both still linger for you, your trembling hands and the deafness. You do not have to listen to the occasional wails of grief that rise from the citizens, finding their deceased loved ones or destroyed homes. Arlagath turns back to look at you, Osborne, kind of heaves a sigh, drags a bracer across her bloody cheek and sort of smears some of the grime across it. There's there's a lot of work that needs to be done. I have to see to the town. Are you planning to stay here and help?
Yeah. Once again, I'll have to refer you to Gran. Are we staying? What are we doing?
Yes, we're staying. Just
Yes.
at least for a day or two.
Yes.
If there's some place we can stay.
I'm sure there are still standing structures. I can check on the status of the town hall at various inns. I can secure accommodations for you.
But you don't have to worry about us. We'll be fine.
No, just a place for a tent, even.
Let's take care of the civilians and.
Yes, we can deal with lodgings once we've, done a little bit of triage.
Yes.
Got to get moving on that.
Right.
Let me lay my hands upon these people.
Wilhelm,
I will find some.
Arlagath herself is barely on her feet. You can see her sort of wavering in her balance. She's one standard health potion above being unconscious.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, let's give her. Well, I mean, I don't know. We got to try and save all these people. Let's give her 5 hit points. There you go.
Step up and reach out with your lay on hands, and there's the momentary radiant glow, very akin to the radiant light that was expelled from her sword as she cast her sacred flame towards the dragon. And as the the ability releases, you sense the divine presence of your deity bolster you in return as you cast this. She stands a bit straighter, her breathing a little less ragged. Thank you. Like you said, I think triage is probably the most immediate concern. I think town hall would be the best place to begin rallying. Fan out, search for individuals that may still be trapped in the rubble, bring the wounded. We have a long day ahead of us.
All right.
She puts a hand down on your shoulder, Osborne. Gives you sort of another nod of thanks, and sheathes her sword as she begins to approach a cluster of militiamen approaching from the east and begins designating instructions to them. So, rest of the party, how long are you going to spend assisting the town of East Haven? You arrived what you approximate to be sometime in the early afternoon, maybe between 1 and 2 o'clock. And it's still high overhead, but as always, obscured from the low-hanging snow clouds that are perpetually in place from Owl's Rime over Icewind Dale.
I mean, at least a day or two, right?
Yeah, for sure. I do want to double check that with Velen, because, I mean, she clearly had, like, something in mind post-dragon.
Yes.
And it wouldn't do for that to be like a frost giant attack that we then ignore because we didn't ask about it.
I will say while you all are kind of like tending to the people you're familiar with and whatever, immediately after combat, Velen, like after maybe a brief moment of just kind of examining the dragon as like a holy shit, what is this? Is not helping in any way, like doing any physical work, but is directing all the kobolds and like them doing the like moving rubble and like helping people, and like is very attentive to like giving them directions, but is not touching anything, not trying not to put any effort in. She is an old lady. And then if you guys like wave her down or whatever, to tell her about the plans to like stay here a few days. She goes, after the immediate fallout of this attack is taken care of, we can discuss You're aiding me in my quest. It can wait a day or two.
Mm-hmm. So no imminent danger on that front from anything.
No.
We're okay. Good.
So you all spend the next several hours before the light begins to dim, assisting the town, occasionally checking in with Barlagath for direction or delegation of tasks. At the end of the day, after surveying the damage has been done, she relays to you that approximately 250 people, which is 1/3 of the town's population, and including most of its militia, have been slain.
Oh my god.
The wet trout, which is where Vulcan, you made the deal with the Dragonborn proprietor to forge the sword, has been razed to the ground.
Oh.
And the barkeeper's body has not been recovered. The White Lady Inn, where you had previously stayed on the town's dime, has partially collapsed as the dragon crawled atop it and caved in the roof. Town Hall is still standing, which is why it is being used as a temporary shelter for those whose homes have been destroyed and who are not able to travel to any of the surrounding settlements for temporary lodging. And the ferry itself is also still intact. The Tiefling Boatmaster has made some temporary accommodations for a small number of individuals who need lodging to stay on the ferry. Heavy damage to the town, but it seems like you stopped it before the utter destruction was complete. So you conclude your day. There are bunks available for you in Town Hall if you would like to take them. If not, there's plenty of room in the surrounding courtyard to set up a normal campsite and leave the cots for citizens who need them.
Yeah. Do camp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your bones ache from the physical exertion of the recovery efforts through the town for several hours. You feel, many of you, like your fingertips are just another couple of hours of work away from frostbite, even despite the protection of your winter gear. It has been a grueling, long, hard day, and you are all utterly exhausted as you gather at your campsite. The few pinpricks of light throughout the town from the remaining streetlights that weren't damaged or lanterns that have just been hung in the meantime don't do much to alleviate the grim atmosphere. There are no passersby out on the street. And there's still just that sort of ominous hush that lies over everything. But Captain Arlagath does join you as you all are partaking of your rations or whatever would have been prepared for dinner around the fire. And you can see now that she's got an arm in a sling, a bandage that's sort of plastered to one side of her forehead. And she still walks with a lot of stiffness in her movement, but she definitely seems better off than she did in the immediate aftermath of the battle. This sinks wordlessly onto the ground next to Osborne and just stares into your campfire.
How do you feel?
Tired.
Yes.
Overwhelmed.
You stop the bleeding then?
Literally, for now. Metaphorically, it's going to take a long time for us to recover from this.
Yes.
Many never will.
Uh,
But the days move on regardless. We must do what we can.
if I might, I don't know, mention something that could be of use to you. The other towns were basically all on the dragon's planned flight path, and Dugan's Hole and I believe Goodmead are both probably also not doing well. And it might be worth it to bring to the attention of the undamaged towns exactly what happened and how they were at risk. And I don't know, try to leverage the role that this town's militia and citizenry played in preventing the dragon from, continuing on the warpath. That I'm not
Speaker
sure.
Whalen has
the other
already
speakers, but it might at least buy you some help.
Speaker Whalen has sent a few of our remaining capable scouts. Goodmead and Dugan's Hole were very badly razed. Survivors from both of those settlements have traveled to Bryn Shander for temporary lodging and accommodation, as virtually nothing stands of those settlements. We are seeking aid from those that were spared the wrath of that creature, but it is still too early to see what we can expect to receive from them.
Well, you should you should make sure they know that they were spared the wrath of that creature because of you.
We can certainly testify to that effect as well. We saw the Dragon's Master's whole war room set up.
What do you... Where?
Well, okay, so, remember earlier how I said that we could explain pretty much the whole thing, and then we started doing
layout.
Yeah.
She wouldn't have really been in a position to retain the details of your relegating your story, but as you sit around the campfire and explain, she listens in rapt attention. You can see as you recount, especially the details surrounding Grandalfa remaining now in power and still having Durgar force there, a sort of calculating look in Arlagath's eye. But she doesn't interject. She lets you recount the story in full before nodding. Well, it doesn't sound like this new Durgar force is an immediate threat, but it is something I will be sure our scouts keep an eye on. And if you have destroyed not only this creature, but its creator, then I think we are in better standing than we could have hoped.
Well, it certainly won't happen again. So that at least is something that we can all be happy about.
Yes, we made her agree several times to not touch 10 towns.
Well, I mean specifically, there's not like a
specifically
clutch of
this,
Chardalyn dragon eggs anywhere.
Oh, yes. No.
Waiting to hatch more.
Not sure if happy is the word, but there is a degree of relief. Thank you for...
I forget, who actually killed Zardarock? Was it Gran?
I mean, I think we all got a hit off.
Yeah, but I think it was Gran, wasn't it?
I did not. He ran from me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would too, Wilhelm.
Well, it was
very disappointing.
If we want to get completely technical about it, I cut his brain out of his head, personally. But
yeah, that was post-mortem, though, wasn't it?
Nope. Mm-hmm. That was the killing blow. I
was trying to... Okay.
I'm not sure what your question was. What was the point?
Right.
I should mention, actually, as long as we're giving people credit, that we probably would never have gotten it done if Osborne hadn't personally nuked dozens of shambling...
Yeah, thank you for that.
Beforehand.
Yes, a mighty impressive fireball.
Would have been swarmed, for sure. Swarmed, right to death.
It's not important. It's not important.
I mean, we're reminiscing about the battle.
Wilhelm, I wanted to ask you something.
Yes? Oh, all right.
Who is your deity again?
Oh, well, I kind of worship the god of battle, but that didn't really work out because I died a lot. Remember, I am Wilhelm Twice Lane. So
is that only twice?
Only
We've made
yeah.
jokes a
What
lot
did I
that
die last
thrice
session? 'Cause
slain.
I
Not
don't
that I
remember.
recall.
Okay, good. Then yeah, no, it's still only twice.
It's like a running joke.
But I feel like I'm more trying to get nature in balance again. It's very weird.
Yes.
Oh well, yeah. All right. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good topic of conversation then.
That's my quest as well, to get nature back in balance.
Well, good.
Wait, are you Wilhelm? Are you between gods?
Yeah, sort of searching, seeking.
I didn't
Yeah,
know.
I never really settled on a god either. I don't really know if I ever will.
Good, Gran. Good.
Yeah, me
Always
neither.
good to keep your options open.
The
I'm a
older
helm
you-
Well,
guy personally.
Either way, the Raven Queen is what ferries you to that afterlife that you choose. So you're
Yeah,
in
but that's
her
really
hands.
morbid, I mean, I get
Yes.
that, but it's very
Yeah,
dark.
I definitely wouldn't want to center my life around it for sure.
Yeah.
Felon, are you and your kobolds part of this campfire posse?
Um,
Or would she have sought more refined accommodation?
I feel like in an effort to be more familiar with the group, she would be near but distance. So like she might be a little bit farther away from the campfire, but still kind of in the vicinity. Kind of like in a standoffish way, trying to be more like sociable. Seemingly out of like it's less I want to be like I'm naturally friendly, and more of like a conscious decision. Oh, normal people get close to others, kind of in the way she's like acting and stuff.
Me at parties, gotcha. But in that case, your two undead kobold, they tend to stick a little closer to you on your instruction, and they are sort of sitting on their haunches at your feet. And Zadrin, as you mentioned the Raven Queen and just instinctively glance towards the closest source of undeath, you see still both of them just sitting with their wide undead eyes
staring right
clouded
back at
over.
him. Yeah. Trying to ignore him for now, but keeping an eye on him. Suspicious.
I think Velen will probably notice this, and definitely I think it would be abnormal for like her undead kobold to like react in this way. So she like picks one up and like turns it 180, and it just kind of slowly turns back to like look at him. It's just like kind of clocks that as odd and like mental note of like maybe I should like watch for this, but yeah.
Zadra, do you wear any symbol or heraldry of the Raven Queen?
Oh yeah.
Beyond the fact that you're just a shatter guy?
Yeah, other than that, I'm a shatter guy. I always imagined that my like armor had more like inlay, not necessarily inlay, but kind of patterns of raven feathers and some obvious kind of trinkets and things from the Shadowfell and from her temples and all that. So it's kind of obvious.
Ellen
never tried to hide it.
Educated background, she would know about the Raven Queen and that deity's absolute detest for and no toleration of undeath and the practice of necromancy. However, she wants to make note of that, but it is something that she would associate with the Raven Queen and this individual in the party who's very obviously in service of that deity.
Yeah.
Gran, what about you? You are one of the two natives of Icewind Dale. You had traveled to East Haven many times before on business. This is a settlement that you were rather intimately familiar with. And to see it in its current state is a bit jarring. How is Gran doing right now?
I mean, I think pretty much exactly the way this conversation is playing out, a little bit somber, a little bit more quiet. Usually she has a million campfire stories to tell. She hasn't told a single story about her childhood or anything like that. I don't think it's like really visible, but yeah, not much to say.
Wilhelm, what about you?
Well, I've been away for a long time, but this sad, I look around very sadly. I'm like, I left Cormyr in order to come back home. Now the wars, they have followed me.
Gath
But
nods,
you found
sort
a
of
new
looks.
one. Would also be
Right.
unless
This
you've
is
got
a-
some kind of backstory thing I've never heard of. This is
Well,
definitely.
yeah, no, I don't think the wars are related.
It's
War is war, man. It sucks.
oh yeah, no, more metaphorically. I'm
Yes.
a little bit out of it tonight.
Yeah, I know. It's all right. I mean, you just fought a huge rock dragon. It was weird.
Very.
Yeah,
That
did a
reminds
lot
me.
of. Mm-hmm.
Arlagath begins to sort of favoring her arm in the sling, reaches down into her cloak and pulls forth a very small leather pouch and just passes it to Osborne simply because he's the closest. We can't spare much. We have a lot of rebuilding to do. But Speaker Whalen thought it only fitting that we offer some sort of thanks.
Oh, you
for
don't
what
have
she
to
did for
give
us.
us anything. You probably have a better use for this than we do.
Wasn't my decision. This was on the Speaker's order.
All right.
It's just a coin purse that has 75 gold pieces, 40 silver pieces. Not a lot.
I'll stick it in my coat.
Well, that sort of pushes to her feet, grimacing a bit from the effort. I'm going to try and get some rest. It's going to be another long day tomorrow. I'll regather with you here in the morning to see what the day may hold for your party.
Yes.
Thank you, all of you, for what you did here. The losses would have been uncountable if you had not intervened. Don't think there is a single soul in Tin Towns who will not know what you did here. We're deeply in your debt. She gives a nod, glances down at you, Osborne, turns and makes her way towards the telephone. So, is there anything remaining that you would all like to do before you turn in for
Gran,
night's rest?
Gran, you said you were you hadn't chosen a deity or a god.
Yeah.
Wilhelm, you said you're in between.
Yes.
Is it because you don't like any of them?
I think it's more that I don't know them.
I mean, look around.
Is there a god?
No, Gran. That's my point. Is the lack of.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Well, the gods caring about some of the situations, but they seemed unaware of the Chardalyn dragon. They're not all omniscient.
So.
Perhaps we are the instruments of the gods, my little friend.
Yes.
I mean,
Literally.
that's
Maybe
how
you
the
are.
priests definitely make it sound.
What's your
Speak for
What is
yourself.
your point, Ozzy? Are you also between gods?
Well, I mean, I'm not exact. Yes, I'm not in between.
Good, we can
I'm
find one
against.
together, my friend.
I'm more against than in between.
That is okay.
Well, then we cannot find one together.
Yes, then I will not
Maybe
force
I
you to
don't
do
know.
something that make
Maybe
you
there's
uncomfortable. Yeah.
Maybe there's a god that's not shit. I don't know.
Are we
Either
talking
way, the
about
Raven
gods?
Queen will
Yeah.
guide you.
Yes, Logan, you're sitting right here. You've been hearing this
have
the
you got
entire
one?
time.
He can't hear. Remember, Wilhelm.
Oh,
Oh,
Vulcan.
right.
Oh, sorry. Hold on. I
Is
lay
he still
hands on him.
No.
Does this help?
You lay hands, mark
Yeah.
off the hit points. Does not make any impact.
Yeah.
You also previously watched Gran cast Lesser Restoration, which
Hey!
several of you
Ah!
identified would normally fix deafness, but it did not seem to
Mhm.
lift this particular instance.
Go like this. Can you hear it? No, you can't hear it? Oh, that's bad. That's really bad.
If we're talking about gods,
Yeah.
I like to do a little worship. My dad taught me about Flandel Steelskin,
Oh,
the gnomish god of smithing. I like to think he's watching over him and I, making sure we're doing good work.
do you have a pamphlet?
He can't hear, remember?
Man, I don't think he, I don't
It's
think
fine.
he is.
It's fine. I'll ask him about it later.
I
We'll
don't
get
think he
it.
is, Grant.
We'll get it fixed.
Hmm.
Just my 2 cents.
We really, really need to figure out how to make this not happening.
I
Mm-hmm.
I am
We need
very
to fix that.
befuddled. I don't know what to do.
Mhm. This is, I mean, lesser restoration didn't do it.
Maybe greater. Or
Well,
if some other
greater-
spell curses, because we know it's a curse.
Did we?
Some kind of, I mean, the Chardalyn
Yeah.
is
Do we not have a
clearly what did it
cleric?
to him.
Look how many of us
No.
there are. Not one of us is a cleric.
Well, no, we've got a druid, a paladin, and an artificer, none of which are particularly clerical.
What about the new lady, Velen, right?
Wizard.
Yes.
Oh.
I'm afraid I'm not well versed in healing, though. I could maybe take a look to maybe discern what his
Wow.
affliction is.
That actually,
Yeah.
that might be a good idea because
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
very
Cool.
magical. It's definitely magical.
Mm.
There was an evil Chardalyn crown that he touched with his bare hands.
Twice.
At the
I
encouraging,
hear that.
I think is relevant to mention of certain members of the party.
Well,
Wilhelm, I
I-
believe.
one member cursed
I
is
don't remember
better.
that.
The second instance was one member cursed is better than 2 or 3.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean that's definitely a chain of logic.
it's still
that
true.
I've heard now.
Yes.
It was the Chardalyn gauntlet. The crown had been
Gauntlet,
shattered.
yeah.
But yes, he did touch Chardalyn.
Yeah.
Velen, you are familiar with Chardalyn and its effects. So give me an Arcana check.
Hey,
He tried to melt my brain with that thing.
I am going to say the DC is lower for Velen considering her background.
Mm.
that is a natural 1,
Yeah.
so 7.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yep, first roll of the session.
There is a party inspiration still on the table.
Oh, you
Just
should
to-
probably use that. We need him to not be.
Yeah, we need him fixed.
That's worth it.
Okay, so inspiration.
Yeah.
Is that
go ahead.
reroll? Is that added to?
Yeah. Reroll.
Okay.
Reroll.
That is a 17.
That will be enough. Velen, you know the properties of Chardalyn. It's suffused with a sort of demonic magic and is a relic of that which you have been studying and in part seeking. And you know that prolonged contact with it or direct contact with too concentrated a source can cause different manifestations of madness. Sometimes these are physical symptoms that might manifest as tremors, blindness, deafness, temporary paralysis.
Would I know or be familiar enough with it through observation to know if he is heavily afflicted by it? Like, if is there any sense in the time that I've been around them of it lessening at all, or anything like that?
Not necessarily lessening. And with that check, you wouldn't be able to gather a time frame or anything, but you do know that these effects are typically, if it's an instance of just a concentrated exposure and not prolonged weeks of exposure, like in Zardarok's case, that the symptoms typically do fade, but that there's very little way to measure what those timeframes could look like. So you're not entirely sure, but in his case, it seems since he has not completely lost all of his sentience and general sense of sanity, the effects he is experiencing will likely not be permanent.
So I'll just say that she conveyed most of that, and like what the like why the Chardalyn metal, like its connection with demonic and whatever, and with regards to trying to fix it, she'll go, I'm afraid it's difficult to mitigate the symptoms, but if you only touched it a couple of times and are not do not have prolonged exposure to it, should go away eventually. For now, just have fun with it. She's like trying to come up with a way to like turn it into like an enjoyable thing or whatever. Just play pranks.
Interesting
On him.
new experience.
Yes.
What's the verdict?
Wilhelm like stops writing because he's like, oh, I shouldn't have written that part. Then he like scratches out the very end of have fun with it, and then he shows it to Vulcan.
Oh. Okay.
How long do you think, Velen?
How long did he touch it?
Not long.
1 second, twice.
They might still have it on him, actually.
What?
No,
No.
we burned it in lava.
anyone
We
check
made
his
sure to
pockets?
use a broom to push it into the lava.
Osborne,
No,
not
you-
everyone grabs sinister things and pockets them.
No, not everyone, just me and him.
It's actually, that's very true.
Ellen, you have known of individuals who, while investigating ancient arcane relics or artifacts, also fell victim to some of these similar effects. Sometimes they faded in a matter of hours. Sometimes it could take as long as a week.
In that case, I'll go, well, with luck, at the very least, he'll sleep soundly for a few days, or more or less. Look on the bright side. He's not crazy, I assume.
Has anyone checked his pockets?
What?
What about your pockets, Osborne? We know you
What
have a
about my
piece that's
pockets?
been uh-huh. Mhm.
I think that amulet was taken from Osborne. And put
Yeah,
in
I
his
was
definitely-
trying to remember that. I was trying to remember at what point and where it
From
is
Being
down
now.
turned
to-
upside down.
Otherwise, me and Osborne need to have a
Taken.
conversation.
Yeah, we should have cast that into the fire too.
Oh yeah, we should have. We
Yeah.
didn't, but we should have.
Yeah.
Speaking
It's
of dangerous
fine.
Chardalyn,
Much
there
less
is-
evil.
there is a massive amount of it in the town. I'm guessing that y'all would have relayed the threat of it, so the
Yes.
average
Oh, yes,
townsfolk
yes,
were
yes.
not picking it up.
Mhm.
But it is still localized in a heap in the town courtyard near where you slew it. So just something to keep in mind.
Definitely have to
Definitely should.
bury it.
Dispose
up
of
with-
it.
Well, burying seems inefficient.
And temporary.
Yeah, temporary. That's a good word. Don't want it to deconsecrate or unconsecrate. Anti-consecrate. Desecrate.
Desecrate.
Yeah, there you go.
Desecrate anywhere.
What's
There
the
you go.
word?
What alternate do we have? We can't carry it around with us.
No, and dumping it into the sea would be both difficult and probably turn all the fish evil.
That would be bad.
I don't want to set up any Dagon messes that we'll have to clear up later, you know.
No, we do not
Uh,
want that.
It seems like lava's reliable. We did
Is there
kill the
lava
dragon.
around?
Nope, we had to go back to the fortress.
What if we sent them at what was the Duragar's name that took over? What was their name?
Muscat. Grandolphin Muscat.
Yeah.
Um,
Could they come get it?
I mean, do we want her in charge of it?
Well, I mean,
Do
what's
we
she
want
gonna
to be
do with
like,
it?
hey, Dwergar with unknown and potentially
Better
sinister
them than
plans
us, right?
is a big magical source of evil madness.
Mhm.
And if she
Velen-
doesn't have any sinister plans, she's probably still smart enough to say no.
Velen will interject, kind of raise a hand, if I may. If there are no better ideas, I can send word to some of my associates who are more arcane inclined to safely secure the Chardalyn, if it helps.
Who
That
are
way-
your associates? What are you?
Yes.
Are they gonna
What
build another?
organization is that?
Are they gonna build another dragon?
No, but they could safely dispose of all of this. Just pointing to the pile of gross metal.
Insight check.
Because
Sure.
Yeah. Put my insight. This is not great, but
Yeah,
she has zombies, so I don't trust her.
Valen, give me a persuasion check, which would just
Sure.
be charisma plus 3 if you don't have a specific stat for it.
Yeah, just when I make the dragon comment, is there any voice shift or anything from that?
You
'Cause that
can
was
give me an
pretty-
insight check as well.
I got
How
a
many
20.
insight checks?
Yeah, I got a 20, dirty 20 on my insight.
Oh, I got a
Uh,
natural one.
Ooh.
Okay. What was it? The charisma
Yep, charisma plus 3.
plus 3. That is almost. It's a 19. Yeah, pretty good. I mean, she is speaking honestly. They're not gonna. Her associates have no interest in building a dragon. You do get the sense that she doesn't necessarily know exactly what they would do with it, but it would be safely removed from this location and not used for nefarious purposes. There's no indication in the way she's talking that there'd be anything like that.
Okay.
well, sufficient unto the day, I suppose, is the evil dragon thereof. So
Okay.
I guess that's got my vote.
Yeah.
If it can be removed from the townspeople,
Mhm.
then let's do it.
Yes.
Zadrin and Gran, as there is a momentary lapse in the conversation, both of you pick up just a momentary sound of what is much like grinding stone, and then a momentary splintering of wood from a nearby caved-in rooftop. And as both of you glance in the direction of the sound, give me perception checks.
That would be a 22.
Ooh. Okay, 18.
Both of you see as you turn in that direction, with the light completely gone now that night has fallen, it almost seems for a moment like a trick of the eye, but you're able to hone in on the receding figure of a winged, roughly humanoid shape, certainly humanoid size. No clothing, just a uniform texture to the body, almost looks like stone. And you just see a momentary glimpse of it as it is flying on massive wings and disappears into the low-hanging cloud cover, moving away from you. It seems like this creature might have been perched on a rooftop and you heard it push off and take flight.
Did we see a gargoyle before when we first entered town when the wizard was being burned alive? Or is that another game? No.
No, it was this game.
No?
Okay, it was this game. Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
You do remember gargoyles that seem to mark the presence of a certain albino tiefling in the eye.
right.
Oh, yeah.
You don't see her, and the creature does appear to be leaving,
Mm-hmm.
but it is a similar creature to what you saw in her presence.
Okay.
My pants.
Good. That's what I thought.
Oh, Velen.
Do y'all discuss this out in the open?
Yes. This seems
mean-
relevant to the party that someone that we know from a town just north that uses Chardalyn amulets to commune with their deity of sorts.
Oh yeah, that too.
Their
God,
patron of sorts
done a lot this
might be interested in
Is-
this Chardalyn, so
Is any of the dragon
you need to be
missing?
careful.
Should we check the dragon?
Yes, I would like to do some paces
Would
around
we
it
know?
just to see. Yeah.
Yeah, y'all can easily enough make your way to where the Chardalyn has been piled. It is a massive mound because this is all of the crystal that made up the form of this dragon itself. It's still a huge pile. It's impossible to know for sure if any pieces have been removed.
No,
There is
how
no one
close-
keeping watch over
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Any tracks
wanna have
around
a
it?
Very quiet, discreet sidebar with Velen.
Okay, we'll come back to that in just a second, Ryson. Zadrin, give me a survival check.
Ooh, 17. Let's see, survival. Another 22.
Okay. Looking around, you don't see any tracks that don't match the repeating back and forth pattern of humanoid tracks that were created as individuals carefully gathered in wheelbarrows or with shovels or pitchforks, whatever they could use to safely relocate these objects into this pile.
Okay.
Bryston, you approach Velen.
Hey, real quick, real quiet. We have actually been, I'm not sure if the word is neglecting, but neglecting to mention a couple of interested parties as far as the Chardalyn goes. And that would be a cult of Levistus that has taken up residence and taken over. Which town was it? I would remember this, but I don't remember this.
Caerdinval, I believe.
That
Just
was
north,
in,
yeah.
Caerdinval.
Yes, Caerdinval.
Caerdinval has been essentially taken over discreetly by Whispers of Levistus, and they were exploiting the Chardalyn a little bit for, evil stuff, evil Levistus stuff. Against Zardarok, I should say, but that probably doesn't mean as much to them now that we've actually taken him out. And then also, there was a white tiefling named Avarice. Powerful wizard.
Velen, give me. Give me another charisma check and add 3. Bryson, give me an insight check.
Nat 1.
22.
Ugh.
Ryson, you don't catch any sort of change to Velen's expression or body language or anything like that. But Velen, you do know of this tiefling. They are associated with the same organization that you previously were. I will whisper you some more information on this individual, but Velen would not openly fess up to knowing anything about her.
Well, that sounds like troubling development. I hope that these self-interested parties do not cause us undue trouble in the future. However, if I learn anything of importance regarding these concerns, as it regards to your aiding in finding what it is I wish to seek, I will not hesitate to share it.
All right. That's a weight off my mind. Honestly, Velen, I know that we haven't known each other very long, but you're good people. And I really appreciate. There have been so many bastards and so many rude organizations of just harmful, nasty, Anyway, I'm sorry. It's good. It's good to run into someone who really has the townspeople's best interests at heart.
As you start to like visibly kind of break down a little bit,
I'm gonna
you see-
flee. I'm gonna flee when that starts happening.
Okay. She like raises a hand, try to like it's a kind of shaky hand to like pat you on the shoulder, but like there's just like a snow silhouette where you used to be by the time she gets there.
Looney Tunes style. Plenty of inspiration for that imagery. That's great. Almost finished with this whisper.
Okay.
When I come back to the group, I'm like a foot taller and I look about 20 pounds stronger. It's all cosmetic. I just want to make myself feel better.
You look different.
Changeling.
Yeah. I would have started my longer rest, hopefully, to then for my
I wish-
4 hours.
I wish I could do that.
That would have been a great character quirk to have my body like respond inadvertently to changes in mood. I'll keep it in mind.
Get chameleon.
Do I have a sense of like if the party is kind of wrapping up their dealings in this area? Like when it seems like there's like not much left that they're gonna be up to here is when I'll kind of want to bring the group together.
The only ongoing goal that remains that they've discussed in front of you is just helping East Haven recover. So it's up to you whether Velen would give them another day to assist in that, or if she has more pressing desires.
I would say I would give them like not a full day. Like I'll bring it up like at dinner, because clearly there's some like emotional attachment to these people in this town or group of towns. So like she's aware of how other people value those connections, and will like maybe if she doesn't like, maybe she waits a second, they'll be more inclined to assist.
So for this current evening, is there anything else y'all would like to do or discuss before bedding down for the night?
Oh, I do.
Okay.
Watch this roleplay. I would like to sit back down by the fire, staring dead ahead, and I would like to call for Ryston. Ryston.
Oh, okay. I walk over, make sure I'm visible. Wave hello.
Staring dead at the fire, don't see it. Ryston.
Are you blind?
Did I see you cry?
Is he blind?
Did I see you cry earlier?
No. That was over by Velen.
Because it's okay. We've been doing some really tough things lately, really scary stuff. We've been fighting dragons and killing some really evil guys who wanted to hurt all of our friends, but it's okay to be scared, you know. I'm scared too. I can't hear and I got the shakes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I don't hear that. But I just want you to know that I'm your friend and everybody here is your friend, and I just want to do something for you. Can I see your sword?
Yeah. Yeah.
That looked like a yes.
I hand it over hilt first.
I want to take it and I want to throw it in the fire.
Oh. That's
Okay.
I'm gonna work on this. Just trust me.
Oh.
Just trust me.
Oh. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna mime being really good at smithing and point to myself like, if you want someone to hold a hammer or whatever who has not very strong hands, but they're not madness-induced shaking either. So
Vulcan, real quick, what is it that you're attempting? Because
I'm
a
gonna
campfire
infuse-
is not a substitute for a forge.
Artificer
I'm
stuff.
gonna infuse it with an
Okay.
infusion.
Artificer stuff.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
No, yeah, I got you.
well, I trust Vulcan with the sword. He's an artificer, so I'm gonna go to bed.
Okay. Bryson, as you hand off the sword to Vulcan, even as he was speaking, his words were an attempted reassurance to you, but as he was saying them, it was hard not to notice the youth of his features and the sort of wildness in his eyes when he confessed to his own fear. Vulcan is younger even than yourself. And you recall your first meeting when he explained that this is his first time traveling beyond his home, south of the mountains. And you just think a moment on everything that your party has been through together and watches his disposition shifts from that vulnerable state to one of just focus and conviction as he turns his attention to your sword. And it's just one of those moments that sort of sticks out to you with how poignant it is. Vulcan, you are going to spend some time infusing the blade.
Mm-hmm.
How long does that take you?
It takes me one long rest. Maybe it says one long rest.
Okay, noted. Osborne?
Wilhelm,
Yes, Osborne.
is it alright if I stay with you tonight?
Oh, of course, my friend.
I'm especially cold.
Oh. What about? Were you going to go visit? She seemed.
No, come on, let's be realistic.
Oh, all right. I mean, I don't know. I think you had a chance there.
No, she's.
You were very heroic.
Tall and statuesque, and
but you are tall in personality.
I'm a goblin. Yes. Let's be realistic, all right.
Oh, you tower over us with your charisma.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but you are
all right.
Very warm.
All right, well, come here, my little friend. We will stay warm together.
Thank you.
You all make your own ways to your bedrolls, the tents that you've struck that offer some additional shelter beyond the broken buildings surrounding you. Is anyone keeping watch during the course of the night?
After I get my 4 hours, I would like to keep watch around the town and contemplate what to do next, like how long to spend here before marking out, pushing the group on to help take care of Aurora and next steps.
Okay.
And what to do about the other 2 towns destroyed and they're dead.
For the 4 hours that Zadrin is trancing, is anyone keeping watch? Velen, you could of course leave 2 of your kobolds to do so if you trust them to be competent enough.
Yeah, I was going to suggest like one undead one and one normal one. I assume the undead ones just kind of don't sleep, and it's just there in case the other one like slacks off.
Okay.
And otherwise they're like near me, like for warmth, like for my own warmth. It's kind of a good distance away from everybody else.
Yeah, you're easily enough able to pull up your largest sled and sort of repurpose it as a makeshift sort of almost a chaise as you shift around the bundles that sit upon it. Okay, in that case, everyone can mark a long rest. Wilhelm, your dreams in particular are very pleasant. The first time that you've had such peaceful rest since your presence in Cormyr. You remember the Dale as it was before Auril's curse, the temperate springs where the shores of the what is now Sea of Moving Ice provided a warm respite away from the monotony of town life. And as you linger on this beach, enjoying the salty air on the breeze, feeling the sun's warmth as the rays beat down upon you, you catch some motion further down, and you turn to see a beautiful woman, darker complexion, with sort of a fiery auburn mane of hair that's loosely tied in a wild braid that hangs down nearly to the back of her knees. And as she turns and meets your gaze, she gives one of the most joyous, pure smiles you have ever seen. And though she is a great distance from you, you hear her voice as she speaks. And she simply says, "Change is coming. Forge the path."
I will forge it.
And you fade into dreamless slumber for the rest of your long rest. Okay. We're going to take a quick bio break here, just a few minutes, and then chat, hang out with us, rejoin us shortly as we figure out what is next for the party.
Ooh.
Hang tight. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everyone. We rejoined the party at the end of a well-deserved long rest following their day of delving into the Sunblight Fortress, dispatching Zardok Sunblight, and then beating a rapid pace to East Haven, where they then slew Zardok's creation, the Chardalyn Dragon. You helped the town begin the long process of recovering for the final few hours of daylight, settle down for your rests. Vulcan, you complete an infusion on Ryson's blade.
Did.
Wilhelm,
Yeah.
as you awaken, give me a religion check.
Religion. Oh no. Here it comes.
Yeah, I know.
9.
I knew. Yeah, that was a nice dream.
Did that pass? 9.
Okay. You all begin your morning rituals. There is a militiaman who is sent over from Town Hall, which is within your field of view, sort of across this courtyard that you've set up camp in. And he advises that there are hot meals readily available for you within the Town Hall. You can see that there is already a queue of citizens that is beginning to form out the door leading into the snowy courtyard.
Do I see Arlagath anywhere?
Give me a perception check.
I think I say that. Oh boy. 15.
15.
Yeah.
Looking around the courtyard, you don't see her presently, but you do know the last place you saw her was disappearing into the town hall, and it seems that that is sort of the basis for operations, which is likely where you would find Captain of the Guard.
Okay. I will stick near Wilhelm for the moment.
You all begin to strike camp for the time being, Bellin having her kobolds do most of the manual labor. The occasional, more brazen townsfolk does make their way near your group on their way to the queue for food and just give a muttered thanks or offer what little tithes they can. Some offer a few copper pieces, some offer little trinkets or heirlooms that are of no real value. Some will accept if you rebuff the gift. Others are insistent and will lay them at your feet. One of which is a woman who has in her wake, can't be older than 7-year-old boy whose clothes don't seem to quite fit him right. It seems these likely aren't his. She is also ill-dressed. It seems the belongings that they have on them were likely not theirs and have just been lent to take care of them in the meantime. You see the boy is sort of sheepish, sort of clinging to the mother's skirts as she approaches you, Gran, initially.
Excuse me. We just wanted to say thank you for what you did for all of us today. Can you Jameson show her what you made?
The boy sort of clings a little tighter to his mother's skirts, but holds out a small fist that is clutched around something towards you.
My long talons reach out.
He sort of draws back at first, but blinks up at you with wide eyes and sort of furrows his little brow as he finds his courage, shoves something into your hand, and then buries his face in the mother's dress and sort of unfurl your talons and see a tiny, essentially a little blob of wood, and the mother sort of leans in. You can see it's a very, very, very roughly whittled effigy of a dragon.
What is your name, little one?
Sort of peeks out. Jameson.
Jameson, you know that you don't have to make things that look like dragons. You know you can be a dragon too, right?
What? And he looks
Okay,
up at his
what?
mom, who is kind of looking at you in concern.
So I turn to the side.
Okay, watch my little nostrils.
And I do, I blow my nostrils out and kind of do my cold breath, but a really light version of it.
So, what you do, you make your nostrils really wide,
open up your mouth and just.
And you see like a bit of spittle and some snot come out.
You have to be gentle. Gentle.
And his breath sort of fogs in the chill of the morning air, and his eyes wide.
Wow. I've done it before, but it's never looked like that. I'm a dragon! I'm a dragon!
And he just like begins bouncing excitedly, and then looks back up to you, Gran.
You're a dragon too. Thank you for teaching me. Wow. I can't wait to show my friends. Mama says they're waiting in Bryn Shander. So we're gonna go find them, and I want to show them how to be dragons too.
Okay. Well, you run along now. Stay safe.
The woman gives a chuckle and a nod of thanks and sort of gathers her son to her, looks over at the rest of you.
Thank you again.
And you can see some emotion welling up. You saw her sort of flinch as the boy mentioned his friends, but she ushers him off towards the town hall without taking any more.
Okay.
Finish striking camp. Do you join the queue of citizens or go ahead and make your way into town hall? You feel like you would not be stopped.
I would like to, instead of keeping with the group, I would like to kind of stick with those that helped take care of the dead yesterday or at the end of the afternoon, and kind of speak with them about training some of them and like some of the prayers and rituals to protect the dead as like they go off to the other destroyed towns, and help leave them with a couple of holy like symbols and a trinket or two to help them guide their prayers and funeral rites of those that passed away.
Okay. Yeah, there's no formal temple that you've seen in any of these settlements, but you did see that there were a couple of particular individuals who seemed to be presiding over the treatment of dead bodies as they were recovered, a couple of whom would occasionally say prayers. You spot some of them in line and are easily enough able to approach them and begin those conversations.
Yeah.
What about the rest of you?
I have a proposal to advance. I know that Arlagath's gift, the payment we received from the speaker. I mean, I don't want to, what's the phrase? Brag, I guess. But how much does 75 gold mean to us at this point? Especially after we robbed Zardarok blind. I mean...
Well, no,
really,
I mean,
we should give that back to the town.
That's what I'm planning on.
I figured there would be some nice family that could use it. Maybe that mother and son that just came back.
When
you're
I still
talking
see
about
them?
Food and rebuilding, 75 gold is a lot of money.
Yeah, the mother and son are currently near the end of the queue.
I would like to approach the little boy.
Okay. You can see he's still excitedly talking up to his mom about being a dragon and how he can't wait to show Theodore and Timothy.
I'm sorry, excuse me.
Whoa. Oh, you're weird looking. Hi.
Yes.
Are you with the dragon lady?
Do you see my eyes? And Osborne has strange eyes. They're yellow, and they have slits on them like dragons. I heard you talking to my friend. You want to be a dragon?
Yeah, watch. She showed me how to do this.
That's very impressive. It's quite impressive, really.
No.
I have a mission for you. If you want to be a dragon.
He looks up at his mom questioningly. She seems a little skeptical, but she slowly gives a nod. He turns back to you.
I pulled the pass that Arlagath gave me out of my coat?
Mhm.
All right. What I need you to do. You see this? I need you to give this to Captain Alagath, but she can't know that you gave it to her. You have to slip it into her pocket.
You hear a stifled sound of concern from the mother. She doesn't interject as Jameson sort of snatches the pouch out of your hand.
Wow, this is kind of heavy. What's in it?
Well.
Whoa!
Okay, all right. Just keep it to yourself, okay? Maybe you could show your mother. It's all right. You can show your mother. But I need you to take that, and I need to give it to Captain Alagath.
But she can't know.
Right.
Okay, I can
Wait
do
till
that.
she's looking in a different direction, and then just slip it into her pocket. If you do that, you would absolutely be a dragon. I should know. My great grandmother was a dragon.
But you don't look at all like a dragon.
Just my eyes.
And he sort of like stands up on his toes, which puts him right about at eye level with you, and he leans in.
Whoa. You do have dragon eyes. That's so cool. Can you do this too?
I can, but it's much more disgusting. Like, way gross. Like, yeah. So if you give that to Captain Alagath when she doesn't know it, then you will absolutely, definitely be a dragon.
Oh, man. I'm gonna be a dragon for real.
Oh god.
I'll do it. Okay, oh, no. I'll make sure.
Right.
And the mom is just sort of standing there, drags her hand down her face, and gives sort of a censuring look to you. We'll make sure that the quest is complete.
Great. I'll just kind of wander off.
If Velen is nearby and like happens to see that the kid Jameson like practices or does the air blowing thing when no one else is kind of paying attention or looking, if she can like tell that the kid's about to do it, she'll cast prestidigitation, and we'll just make it the like wind look like way more intense, but only the one time. So the puff of like just kind of cold air just like blasts out like, I don't know, 15 feet or whatever. Just kind of watches what happens.
As he does this, and you see the very gently falling snow just sort of flurry in a vortex around this cold air, it sort of impacts the back of the person in line in front of them, who looks down in confusion at the kid, who is just sort of wide-eyed and staring. And he looks up at his mom, and he looks up at the guy that looked back at them, and looks up at the mom, and then looks over at Gran, and then just sort of looks down, and you can't hear it, but you can read his lips as he just sort of mouths,
I'm a dragon.
This could be dangerous in their future, but
That's a future adventurer right there.
or casualty.
The rest of the time that he is within your sight, you can see that he is practicing trying to recreate that effect. The mother seemed absolutely taken aback by this and is just sort of watching the child, still protectively, but with like a hint of concern in her expression now.
All right, at this point, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah. At this point, I'm kind of hoping that the mother just keeps the money, because I feel
thought
like
that
now we owe her
She'll make sure it gets to Alligator.
additional.
I thought that Ozzy was gonna give her the money, like their little family.
But that's like one family. It should be going to the town.
Well, also,
they
I
seem
mean,
like a
not to
generous
put too
family.
fine a
It goes
point on
back
it,
into
but-
the town. You know, eventually when they spend it.
Well, either way, glad that that's resolved.
Sad. Good deed.
I'm
have
guessing you all eventually make
Ruined
your
that
way
child.
To the
into
town hall. Yes.
Okay. So as you enter and sort of get a little bit of shelter and warmth against the cold outside, You can see that this queue is actually in line leading up to where a sort of makeshift soup kitchen, if you will, has been set up. But rather than normal cookware, you can see that each bowl is being served out of a massive, ornately decorated cauldron. A familiar one, the one that you recovered from the Hag Cave. That is being used to serve the town. The enchantment currently is producing bowls of steaming, something akin to grits, so they're a little grainier and drier, that have some sort of meat supplement to them.
As long as it isn't people this time.
As you all approach, you can see that Arlagath is sort of supervising this arrangement, and she beckons you over with her good arm. Good morning. We're finding a new routine as we set about this process. Help yourselves. There is food available, thanks to some resourceful adventurers that previously procured this for us.
I carried it on my back.
Well, as you can see, it is being put to very good use. I trust you all rested well.
Yes.
Good. There's a lot of work to be done.
Yes.
We think we have regathered most of the dead. We had a small crew working through the night out near the wall. But at this point, it is all about gathering what supplies we can. We're going to be sending an envoy to Bryn Shenda for those individuals who no longer have residences standing here in town. We will be scrounging what we can from the wreckage to make sure that they are going on their trip as well supplied as they can. And from there, we start rebuilding. She's got her own sort of bowl of this porridge-like breakfast concoction that she has to set down whenever she wants to take a bite because she's only got one good arm. She sort of scans over your group. Something tells me you won't be indefinitely available to assist us in these matters.
We have got some more, well, adventuring to do, I suppose.
Where will you go? What is on your agenda?
Well, that'll actually be up to Velen. In exchange for her help getting us back here quick enough to, do any good, and also against the dragon, she's got some things she wants us to take care of.
I'll come wandering up, seeing the party actually talking to all her guests. It's like, and continue my quest of helping y'all rid yourselves of Alril.
Oh, yeah, I mean, obviously that's still
Yes.
most of our end goal, I'm pretty sure, is return the spring.
When you first mentioned you would tackle such a monumental task, I honestly have thought you were all full of shit. But after seeing what you're capable of, perhaps you've got a better shot than I initially thought.
Oh no, we're totally full of shit.
Yeah, don't make us overconfident.
Yeah.
We do not need that.
Yeah.
She turns her gaze to you, Velen, sort of removed slightly from the rest of the group. And where exactly are you taking our heroes?
Well, I'm trying to decide in what way she would like respond to that. I'm going to take them to potentially a very useful place for your problem with the, let's call it troublesome winter. I'll leave it at that. The rest will be between me and the party. I hope you understand.
Okay.
She glances at you, Osborne, with sort of a look that communicates her insistence that you be on guard as she looks back to Velen. Very well. Keep your secrets. I'm sure they can handle themselves no matter where you take them. But her expression sort of hardens a bit where she turns her gaze back to Wilhelm. Well, I know you came in on dog sleds, so you have your transportation taken care of. I can set aside some foodstuffs and other supplies for you as we gather them if you need. Just let me know. Of course. But for now, break your fast, gain your strength. We'll put you to work while you're here. Don't you worry. She takes the rest of her food and goes over to a band of militiamen that have entered the town hall and begins delegating tasks to them. I'm sorry, there's another dragon?
No.
What?
They told him how to make his breath seem like a dragon breath. It's a normal small child. There's a normal small child who's not a secret murderous dragon. Don't know why you would phrase it that way.
Dragon. Okay.
He's a child. He's a child that you're all lying to in a weird, encouraging way. I'm getting a splitting headache every time I think back about it.
It'll be fine. He's going to have such confidence.
Very well. We've gotten him up to some mischief. Now, excuse me. And did you have anything you wanted to say?
I was just going to say, he needs something to keep his mind off of what happened. And I think this is a simple and fun way to do it.
Yeah, it'll definitely...
You can never just assume.
I thought it was implied that you have done nothing to ever harm anyone, my friend.
I mean, we all got it. I'm not... Vulcan can't hear. He didn't get it. Everyone else got it.
Except for that fireball that one time. But let's not worry about that. I don't even remember it.
Arligas sort of chuckles to herself as she just turns and leaves you all squabbling. Is there anything other than assisting in tasks that you are presented by the town that you would all like to accomplish before lunch?
I will say, because the conversation kind of drifted toward there already, and it's kind of on people's minds, that whenever they leave the town hall, Velen will kind of try and get everyone together. You've all proven yourselves quite capable, and I do believe all of you are exactly what I've been looking for. She takes a deep breath. It's like all right, this is a bit of a risk, because she doesn't 100% know these people, but it's also the best chance she has. I need your help to find an ancient city buried under the ice. This city, Yithrin, is a lost fragment of the Empire of Netheril, whose wizards created many of the magic items we find scattered across the world today. It holds magic beyond our wildest dreams. We might even find something there to end this hateful winter. Intrigued? It kind of scans the party. And if none of them say anything immediately.
Insight check, of course, and then just stare down your zombies to take it all in again.
Zadrin, give me an insight check, but Velen, go ahead and continue. You don't need to roll a contest for this.
20. Yeah.
Using divination magic, associates of mine have learned that the city is buried deep inside, how do you say that? The
Regid Glacier.
The Regid Glacier. I'm new to the area. But the glacier can be cracked open at a place where a waterfall once flowed down its side, but has since frozen. We've already found the waterfall. All we need now is the magic to break open the glacier.
Zadrum with that insight check.
Mm-hmm.
All of this reads as honest.
Wilhelm takes the pad that he's been writing on and shows it to Vulcan. This is what she's saying, Vulcan. It's very important.
Okay, I'm on track.
All right, let us continue. I'll burn this, don't worry.
No, it sounds pretty crazy, I would say. No offense. But I don't know what other leads we really have right now.
We will need powerful magic to end this powerful winter. It makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
On that note, I have a couple of bits of information about the city in Netheril that I've learned before meeting you all, which I believe would be useful for you all to know in advance before what we will be getting ourselves into. One second. Okay. Do I know if like anyone could have possibly known of what Netheril was besides people of like my background?
Your background or similar backgrounds of extremely elevated arcane learning. Individuals that are residents of Icewind Dale likely have no knowledge of it, and what scraps are known are probably no more than local folk tales that still sort of miss the mark of the truth of what Netheril was.
Okay. Netheril was a vast human empire ruled by wizards. Their mastery of the weave remains unsurpassed, even by nowadays standards. It is said that they created magic that was more powerful than a wish spell, used it to accomplish the impossible. Their magic could shear the tops of mountains, lift entire cities into the sky. Ythrin was once held aloft. To do that, they would have needed a powerful magic item called a mythalar. It is likely something so powerful would have survived the crash and the time that has passed since its fall. It might have other properties as well, including the ability, and she kind of gestures around, to change the weather. Think of what that could mean for Icewind Dale. She goes, to access, let's see. So I'm double checking to make sure I'm saying this part right. So do I know?
Text under the codicil.
Okay, just read that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I see. Okay, thank you very much. Pretend that there was no pause in this. Written and guarded by Aurel's followers, the Codicil of White is rumored to contain a spell or ritual that can carve a passage through the Regid Glacier, under which the lost city Ythrin is buried. Divination magic has revealed that the book is being held in a frost giant fortress on a mist-shrouded island in the sea of moving ice.
Wilhelm and Gran, both of you have heard in your immediate return to Icewind Dale rumors that Auril makes her stronghold on a ever-moving city that floats upon the sea of moving ice.
At this point, I'll give like a small pause to see if anyone has anything to like say about the mention of like Arl's followers and all this other stuff.
It'd be good to face some of them finally, more directly.
He flips over his little notebook to Vulcan so that Vulcan can read everything. He's like, so this is it? The home of Auril that you speak of?
How many followers?
Good question, Vulcan. You read through that so fast.
Do I know how many followers or anything like that?
You don't know. You have not been to the island stronghold yourself. It's up to you whether you would like to relay the information about the rival who was also making their way towards that island and the object of their possession.
A lot of this information, I will admit, comes from a Professor Orb of mine. I refer to it by its proper name, Professor Scant. The orb itself is a family heirloom. It was stolen from me by a former colleague named Nas Lantomir. The orb has the personality of a scholar and is named Professor Scant. Its knowledge will help us once we descend into Yithrin. Nas is after the Codicil of White. Find Nas, we find Professor Scant. Would I know off the top of my head, like, where I believe they may be?
You wouldn't know her current whereabouts. You just know that she was also making for the Codicil, which means that she at some point would also make her way to that island.
Okay.
Real quick, Osborne, to a degree, Wilhelm, Gran, even Ryston, those of you with any knowledge of magic or any sort of background in it whatsoever, when she mentioned magic more powerful than a wish spell, none of you really know the context of a wish spell, but you've all heard of just how insanely powerful it is. So the concept of something that diminishes its power is a little hard to conceptualize, because that is the epitome of arcane ability as it is known in present day. Osborne, the mention of a professor orb rings a bell, because one such magical object, though not known by the name Professor Scant, rests within the vaults of Xanathar and is one of his more prized possessions, because it is a boundless source of knowledge.
I actually know everything about the Lost City and Netheril and all that stuff. My family is unusually familiar with it due to decades of incredibly powerful wizards being the, patriarchs and stuff. So I'm like, however informed you are, I'm like that times 1.5.
And I feel like I gotta do an insight check on that one.
You don't. There, yeah,
Okay.
you know.
I will say that Velen takes that.
Are you sure?
Fully,
I'm really good at deception.
I know, which is why I'm not going to make it a contested roll, because she would know.
I will say that Velen will like.
There are
not
some
try to,
things
like,
that don't need a DC.
Not try to like call them out or anything like that. We'll take it, pretend it's like fully serious, and we'll be like, in that case, I'm sure we can rely on you when we actually reach the city of Yithrin to avoid any deadly.
Joking, totally a joke.
Okay, all right.
Failing on that one, hitting the eject button on that bit.
It was a good bit.
I mean, I thought it was pretty funny.
It's good to know when to bail.
Lighten the mood. So,
yes. My angle is Well, there's quite a... No, but you are, which I think might be...
Velen,
There are certain items there that I believe might be of use to me. Just the promise of long lost spells and that might be a secondary objective. Any wizard worth their weight in gold will always try to better themselves. I seek to be the best of those I know of.
It's true. I wish I was the greatest swordsman that ever lived.
I wish I was the greatest, whatever I do.
You
I'm
are a
pretty
swordsman.
fine.
You're probably the greatest swordsman I've ever met.
Well, that's extremely flattering, but you literally can turn your sword magical, which I have never been able to figure out. So you're the greatest
I'm
swordsman
watching.
I've ever met.
Thank you. You're sweet. Because there is mutual gain, you trust her more, is what you're saying. Good. Good. It's still very vague.
If once you guys finish your like sidebar, obviously sensing kind of the reason of it, Velen will go, yes, not necessarily. My primary goal is not to save 10 towns, but I do not wish it necessarily to be destroyed. If that is your goal, I will aid you in it, as long as you aid me in mine. Retrieval of items and knowledge from this place.
Is there a specific item of knowledge that you want? Like, I don't want to pick up an item of knowledge and keep it, and it's the one you want.
Well,
Yeah, Zadrin's mainly focusing on this question.
Yeah, give us the
Hard.
deets about the
Yes.
super special magical artifact only you know about.
I'm very bad about putting things in my pocket.
I would love some magical items.
I'm sure there will
You
be
can't hear. Be
plenty-
quiet, you.
Oh.
I'm sure there will be plenty of magical items and knowledge and all that at this long-lost, never-touched city. I do not know of specific items off the top of my head that will be desirable. That rich.
In general.
Gross.
Okay, well, we'll share and share alike. I get it. All right, this
Hey,
is good.
speaking of magic, Vulcan, what did you do to my sword? What's up with it?
You have to write to him.
What?
No, Ryston is very wise and smart, and definitely didn't forget about Vulcan not hearing. So he pantomimes.
Gotcha,
He pantomimes.
Gotcha.
He's like, sword? Ooh, magic gesture?
Here you go. I'll tell you all about it later, but let me tell you, that's a sharp, stabby stick.
It talks so loud.
Yeah. All right.
After this, like, slight sidebar, Velen's
Okay,
kind
go
of
ahead.
standing at attention a little bit, just kind of waits for a brief lapse. And she goes, I sense that you all do not trust me.
No, actually, I
No.
think you're one of the kindest, most heroic people I've ever met.
Well, to your point, I do agree that blind trust may be a poor foundation for relationship. Mutual interest, however, is a solid bedrock upon which beneficial arrangement can be built. Sure. Oh,
That's true.
if we are to head towards the Sea of Moving Ice and travel through it, the folk of Tin Towns, there's a legend or tale of an entity known as Angajuk. Did I say that right?
Angajuk, yeah.
Again, I'm not local. A sentient entity. I'm told, though I have not seen it, that it is a whale with a ship on its back. There is a harbor to the far northwest, past Targos and Bremen. Should we make our way there eventually, this creature may stop and give us passage toward Oral's Island. That is probably our best bet to finding Nas, finding the Codicil, Yithrin, and my ultimate goal and your ultimate goal, I assume.
Wilhelm, Gran, as Icewind Dale natives, both of you have heard the tales of Angajuk, an awakened sperm whale that is old, was the companion of an old archdruid named Anga, who lived in the Dale before Aurel's presence was here. Y'all have heard of this mooring that Velen references that is on the shores of the Sea of Moving Ice.
Don't forget, we also need to watch out for razor ice.
Razor snow.
Razor snow, yes, razor snow. Mm-hmm.
Remember that? We had a whole talk about it. Oh.
Yes, that's why we didn't go there in the first place. We went to Sunblight first. Razor snow falling from the sky. Yes.
I'm sorry, Velen. They get like this sometimes. Thank you for this information. It's been very nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't wait to go and meet that cool whale. Also, dragon. Another dragon. Big, scary dragon. Still here, still around.
With like
Ellen, this is the first you're hearing of another dragon.
As long as we're summing up threats. I
mean, yes. We need to tell you about that then.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about it before.
It's fake.
I'm more concerned about this dragon. Thing. What are you talking about?
There's another white dragon.
Real.
Hold on, let me see here.
Give you a party inspiration if you have her name written down.
Scramsax?
Oh, no, that's not it.
No. Hold on. I have it. I
don't have my notes with me.
Griffin, did you just say it?
I'll say it again. Arvaturus?
Arvaturus.
Arvaturus, let's go! Woo!
That is correct.
Mm-hmm.
Party inspiration.
Yeah, evil.
I say definitely.
Evil dragon.
So, before we delve into this new part of the conversation, it is getting a little late. We're a little bit past our stop time, and there is plenty of conversation that y'all still need to have in preparation for your journey to Angajuk and then to Arl's Island beyond. So I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. We can pick back up with y'all still just outside the town hall in case there are any remaining tasks that you wanted to complete in East Haven before you depart. So we'll call it for now. Chat, thank you so much for hanging out with us and rejoining us. The momentum is going to be an upward swing from here as the party is pressing into what could be the final arc of the adventure. So we definitely hope that you will join us next week as we stream. Well, James, are you going to be playing next week? Watch our Twitter, because one of the rest of us is going to have to take up the mantle of hosting the stream if James is not going to be available. So keep an eye on twitter.com/goblinneon for programming and scheduling updates as to when we will be playing our next installment of this adventure, as well as the final installment of our other ongoing campaign, Entropy. So as always, all of our programming updates are localized to twitter.com/goblinneon. We, of course, want to thank our sponsor for this evening, Roll20. Thank you so much for providing us an incredible suite of tools. All of the maps and tokens that you see are typically from Roll20 and their extensive library. So as always, thank you so much for your sponsorship and support. We definitely appreciate it. And chat, we definitely appreciate you guys as well. Thank you for joining us. We love you very much. And yeah, join us next time. We'll see you then. Okay, bye.
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 Yeah, we're clear. Speaking of Entropy, Chris and Alden, Saturday. I don't blame him. I'm just like, what am I supposed to do? Like, we need to get Entropy done. One episode left. So there has to be 3 hours during the week sometime that we can all get on the Zoom at the same time. That's an interesting idea. I don't really care about what time we stream it, but yes. Yeah. Every day? Okay, so you're saying this Sunday. This is the last day. Not this week again. I'm flying to Alaska on Sunday, and I'll be back on Friday. What about you? Good night, Devin. Thank you for coming. What about you, Alden? Good night, Prescott. I don't know you. You gotta tell me. They're all bats, but they're awesome. Look at all. Even on Zoom. Super spreader. I mean, I'm okay with that.